Well, howdy there, nerds. As you can see, I've been forging bonds. Well, I've been trying to. it's it's been on and off a bit. I've been kind of like, I don't know. But a lot of you have been discussing if this has been, well, actually, one of the terms that I saw in the comments previously was if it was dead on arrival. And by the way, for those asking if I had a good birthday, I did. Thank you. So, Heroes, right now we have this new event, and a lot of you have been vocal about it. A lot of you have been saying, I'm not really into it, I don't really enjoy this, it's not that great, it's not that fun, you know, tomato, tomato, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you know, stating your opinions, saying what you want, and I completely can understand it. I really do. Mostly because, yeah, I see the complaints, and I see a lot of what's going on, and while I love supports for a lot of things Heroes related, I can definitely agree that there are some sticking points here, and I figured I would just address that, and we would talk about it, and you guys can say in the comments what you think, you know, etc., and, well, I hope you guys can listen a little bit, shall we? So, what I'm trying to say here is pretty simplistic. What exactly is going on here? What exactly needs changing? Well, I feel, for me at least, the stamina cost and a few other things need to be addressed. And remember, whenever it comes to complaining, which is what I'm good at, you know, always send your thoughts via the customer support tab, the feedback tab under miscellaneous in the main menu. That way IS knows where they can address their complaints and, you know, or at least modify some things in the game so you all don't feel so lost. Or at least don't feel like you're having to worry too much about it. I mean, they did fix a lot of those issues based on feedback. But there are a few things that I think do need addressing, as I said before. One is, of course, stamina. I feel stamina cost for this game mode is kind of ridiculously high, and that's coming from a game mode that previously, guys, when it came to this game, we did not have that big issue. I mean, considering, just to give you an example, we've had a lot of game modes now that are mostly meant to be, you know, something you do without stamina. GHBs, BHBs, they've been changed quite a bit. They're something that you're supposed to be doing, you know, without using any sort of stamina, so chances are you probably have a lot of stamina pots these days, which I completely understand. However, 15 per pop still seems like quite a bit, especially at the later levels. It really can come across that it's a little bit too much, at least to me, especially considering that you know, well, we'll get into the next argument. Basically, I feel that when it comes to a lot of what the choices are, you really don't have a choice of which character you're going to be supporting. It's random. So a lot of the times I've noticed that people feel like they've kind of been ripped off when it comes to, you know, trying to grind up a certain support with the character, or some of the times, you know, you're going on a character that is really not necessary. I mean, a lot of unless you're going for the orb at the end of their, you know, line, some of the times you kind of feel like you're just going a little too crazy. Like, I mean, look at that. Samia, I wasn't even trying for Samia. She ended up just capping out right away. Good news is, of course, with the boosted chances and all that fun stuff, at least and now that she's capped out, I don't get her, you know, support hearts anymore. It just kind of shows up. Also, the friendship boosts and a lot of the boosted chances and things like that feel kind of randomish in how they show up, the multipliers and all that fun stuff. It really just requires you to, you know, kind of depend on luck a little too much, and that's not something that I find really that exciting or all that fun in the long run. You know, the thing is, when it comes to Heroes and a lot of what is going on here, there's also a bit of a problem with rewards. Namely, I feel rewards are a little bit unnecessary in some regards. I hate saying that, but let me just explain, okay? When you look at this, and when you look at what is available, there are a lot of feathers, which is really nice, but there's also a lot of other issues. Namely, you know, accessories are cool, I don't mind them, and it's cool that we can get 2 Pope hats, but I feel like just having an additional tier at the end that's just a, you know, just an accessory with a little bit more flair, like, just to give you an example, that previous Pope hat that I mentioned, that is, the upgraded version of that is, they just add a little bit of a gem to the side of it, like, you know, the front portion in the middle, and that's about it. that's the reward, guys, is another accessory, and oh look, it's absolutely nothing, pretty much. I hate saying that, but that's just how I feel about it. Those are my complaints. And I'm sure that there's a lot more out there for you as well that you may have in terms when it comes to just this game mode. I really can't say. I had a lot of great chances boosting up my units earlier, but now I only have a one-time, friendship boosting chance, and it's just like, gotta keep working at this. But I will say a few other things. When it comes to the events, and I'm talking events, and I'm not talking like actual event, actual mainline, always introduced into the game, new things for you. I'm talking about, events like Tempest Trial that show up occasionally and stuff like that. When it comes to things like this, I feel they, they tend to always kind of introduce these things and then address the problems really quickly later on. To give you an example, just, off the top of my head, Voting Gauntlet. I don't know if you guys remember the first few Voting Gauntlets, and I'm not talking about the multiplier, which I'm sure a lot of people are instantly going to jump in and be like, I remember when there was no multiplier. And Lucina won everything, Camilla won everything, and, Marth and, not Marth, Crom and Ephraim had the duel to the death, which was fun, by the way. That was one of the highlights of the starting of this game, was that, crazy fight that those two had. But, there was one thing that I just always remember from that, and that was, Marth and, who I keep thinking Marth, Crom and, Ephraim fighting it out. However, they're, that's not actually what I'm talking about. You see, when the Voting Gauntlet came out, the rewards were not so much just anything outside of feathers. In fact, a lot of what happened in that game mode was essentially just, you played the game mode, you got feathers, and then at the end of it, everyone got orbs. We all got like 20 orbs the first go around. And yeah, that some of you might be going, wait, what? You got 20 orbs for that? And yeah, yeah, you did. You got 20 orbs for just kind of participating. It was kind of funny. Now that's been reduced. Now I believe it is 12 orbs, and I feel it's a little bit better in just the regards when it comes to rewards. I feel, honestly, of all things, Voting Gauntlet does a good job of at least allowing you to get rewards for participating, no matter what level you are, no matter how, high up, no matter how crazy your characters are. It does a good job of at least including, players who may not be able to play too much, or may not have the craziest characters. You get coins, you get a lot of other stuff. It's just kind of that. But still, I get the reasoning behind it. That's just how it is. I feel as time went along, they definitely did a better job of at least creating a better atmosphere for you to play Voting Gauntlet, even if the multipliers ruins people's lives and makes them salty. Then we had other game modes like Tempest Trials that just came out. When that came out, it was hard as balls. We had none of the, bonus features. We still had some of those great rewards. It's just that a lot of what was in there was really, really difficult. We had none of the bonus stats for characters who were featured there. They just kind of gave you bonus points. And they really didn't do much outside of that. It was just, oh hey, go fight. And, these characters had bloated stats, and a lot of people were not prepared for this. So naturally there were a lot of complaints. A lot. And I remember distinctly being like, holy crap, this character over here has like, what was it? If you ran into, I would say, any sort of armored unit in the first go, they would have like 60, 70 health, and everyone was like, what the hell? It was some of the more bizarre, moments in that game. And then, of course, we have, things like rival domains and all that other stuff, which, honestly, I still think is some of the worst game modes in the rival domains. Some people might not like tap battle, but I just don't, and I can't stand rival domains. That's just my own personal thing. Even though they've fixed a lot of the issues that I had with it, I still just don't enjoy it. Namely, they fixed a lot of the issues where, it's a big map, there's a lot of characters spawning in, and I'm sure a lot of you ran into the situation where you went in, you fought some characters, and, you cleared out these situations around the bases that you're supposed to capture, and, in comes a new influx of units. They get to move right away, and then they just get to teleport right into where you are, and they attack you. That was some of the bigger problems out there, along with some of the, like, unbalancedness when it came to selecting units that were going to be there from NPCs. And add that all together, it was not great. It was not. However, they did fix it. They did push out a lot more effort into fixing it. So what I'm trying to say here is, while you may not enjoy what is in the game right now when it comes to this game mode, I think it's worth, you know, at least taking the initiative, especially since IS seems to like taking the initiative to at least push out better, more complex versions of their game modes that we'll probably see a lot more out there. We'll probably see adjustments to forging bonds as time goes along. I just don't know. For me, myself, it still does not scratch the itch of what I'm hoping for eventually, which is I still want a game mode that is something infinite and a lot more interesting than this, where I just run in and do this. I would play Tempest Trials back in the earlier days if I could, you know, the hard as balls version, if it was something that I could just play every day without having to consume SP and get a challenge, get something interesting going on. That would be me, myself. Or, you know, we're not even talking about Arena or any of the adjustments there, which could just be a necessary thing, because, yeah, we do need to adjust Arena still. That's still something that needs to happen. But when it comes to a lot of this, be it events or whatnot, there's still a lot to be done for this game, obviously. But is it dead on arrival? I don't expect it to be. I don't think it is. I still love supports in, you know, this kind of game. You know, Fire Emblem's always kind of been about interactions between characters, so it's nice to see that. But they do need to address some of the elephants in the room that is kind of become something here. No, seriously, it has. It's kind of unnerving how weird this has been lately. But I don't know. That's just my ramble on this whole situation. I would love to hear it from you guys and what you think. So if you have the time, just put in the comments what you have, and if you haven't already, yesterday was my birthday, of course, and, you know, I had a really great birthday. We did have a little bit of a celebration here, and we will be giving away that $15 gift card tomorrow. So if you haven't already, please do go and put it in the comments on that video. It should show up at the end slate here while we're talking. And feel free to check us out, subscribe if you agree with any of the things that I'm talking about. If you do agree with me, you know, leave a like, and of course comment, chat, and talk to me about this new game mode. Do you think it's dead on arrival, or are you actually enjoying it, and what are some of your complaints? What do you think they can improve upon? That's about it for me, nerds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!